Students, so today we are going to start a physics chapter named Force and Laws of Motion. Okay, so before starting the chapter we need to know the definition of force, where definition of force and force concepts, it's not a new topic for you people. So let us know the definition of a force by using a small video clip. Okay, so go through it and quickly come back.
What is force? Push or pull on an object is called a force. Boy pulling wagon. Nurse pushing a patient in a wheelchair. Force comes into play due to interaction. An interaction of an object with other results in force between the two objects.
If you are clear with the definition of force, so next we'll move on to the types of force, that is balanced force and unbalanced force. Okay, as the name suggests, balanced and unbalanced. So in balanced we can say equal amount of force is applied on both the direction. Okay, so in both the sides equal amount of force is applied. For example, you can take a example of a tug of war game. Okay, so here from both the sides equal people will be there, and if they are exerting same force, then that is a best example for balanced force. Okay, and here comes to unbalanced force. Here unequal amount of force is applied on both the direction. Here there was an equal amount of force, and here as the name suggests unbalanced, so unequal amount of force is applied on both the direction. Okay, so these are the two different types of forces. Next we'll move on to the first law of motion. Okay, so wherein this is a very important question. Define Newton's first law of motion will be a question. So the law states that an object remains in state of rest or uniform motion unless and until the external force is applied on it. Okay, so it means any object which is in stationary position without any applying the external force, whether that object move, no, it doesn't go. Okay, if we apply the external force, now this chalk, okay, now I am holding this, I am not applying any force on it, but if I apply force towards the right side, this chalk moves, right? Similarly, if I don't apply any force, do the chalk move? No, it doesn't move. So that is nothing but the first law of motion. Okay, so object remains in the state of rest or uniform motion when the external force is applied on it. Okay, and this first law of motion can also be called as law of inertia. Okay, so there might be the question, either they might give to write first law of motion, or else the question might be defined law of inertia. Okay, for both the question the same thing will be the answer. Okay, so note down that name also. First law of motion can also be called as law of inertia, and the other one is momentum. So this momentum, it is actually required for the second law, next upcoming law, wherein what is this momentum? It is the product of mass and volume. Okay, it is a product of mass and volume. So here mass is represented as m and velocity is represented as v. Okay, so momentum is represented as capital letter P. So momentum is nothing but it is a product of mass and velocity, wherein mass is represented as m and velocity is represented as v. So this is the definition of momentum. So hope first law of motion is clear. So next we'll move on to the second law of motion. Okay, so second law of motion states that rate of change of momentum of object is directly proportional to applied force. So momentum means, already I have told you, right? So what is momentum? It is a product of mass and velocity. So this momentum will be there for each and every object present on the earth. Okay, so this momentum will be present on each and every object present on the earth, and that rate of change of momentum of each object, that is directly proportional. Directly proportional means exactly equal. Okay, so it is directly proportional to the applied force, whatever force you are applying. Now for example, if you are standing on a big building, okay, if you are standing on a almost 25 feet building, and you are standing at the top of that building, and you are carrying two stones in your hand. Okay, now for example, if one stone weight is about 1 kg and the other stone weight is about 500 grams, Okay, one is of 1 kg and one more is of 500 grams. And you're standing at the same height and you're going to drop that stone to the ground. Okay, so what do you think, which stone reaches soon? Actually, whatever the object which is having greater weight will reach very soon. Why is that? Because that is because of the momentum of that object. Okay, so rate of change of momentum of object, it is directly proportional to the applied force. And here you have a formula for the second law of motion, that is F is equal to ma, wherein F stands for the applied force, m stands for mass, as well as a stands for acceleration. So this is what the second law of motion. So hope first law of motion, second law of motion is clear to you. And next there is a last law, that is third law of motion, which is very small and very important. Okay. So third law of motion states that for every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. Okay, very small law. So it say for every action, whatever the action you perform, similarly there will be an exactly opposite to that reaction. Okay, so for every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. For example, you can take the example of a swimmer swimming in the swimming pool. Okay, there is a swimmer swimming in the swimming pool, and what he does, when he swims, with his hand he pushes the water backward. Right, what the swimming coach will first teach us, they will teach us to push the water back. So when you push the water back, automatically you move front. Right, so when you whatever the motion, whatever the movement you are giving to your hand, that makes the water to move back. So that is one action, and the water is moving back. But what does your body do? Your body is moving front. So that is a opposite as well as equal reaction. So it says, the third law says for every action there is an opposite as well as equal reaction. Next, coming to the last topic, that is conservation of momentum. So how do you conserve the momentum? There is a law for that, and the law say the sum of momentum of two objects. Okay, so both the objects is having the momentum, and the sum, when you add those momentum, that will be before the collision. So collision means it is going to dash each other. Okay, so that is called as collision. So when two objects comes in contact with each other, there will be the production of momentum. So that momentum before the collision is equal to sum of momentum after the collision. So before the collision, what momentum will be there, that momentum will be same after the collision also. Okay, I repeat. So sum of momentum before the collision is equal to sum of momentum after the collision. Okay, so this is called as conservation of momentum, wherein all the three laws as well as conservation of momentum question is very, very important. Okay, just go through these topics and go through your textbook, and there are several problems wherein problems have been deleted for this year. Okay, so go through the definition parts very clearly. Okay, so here ends the chapter force and laws of motion.